So here's the thing. I'm in a trailer right now and I have a haircut. Neither of these are permanent changes. But here's another thing. Fandoms can be a tricky thing. Occasionally you'll find the time you spend with fans of a certain franchise could be just as good, if not even better, than the time you actually spent enjoying the franchise. Other times, well, it really does not matter how good your TV show, movie, video game, whatever is. If the fan base surrounding it has a bad reputation, you're just out of luck. A certain Pink Horse show comes to mind. And sometimes, if you're very unlucky, a particularly deranged individual will become attached to your franchise and proceed to do something absolutely unhinged, which then spreads around the internet and makes a bad name for anyone who's a fan of your property. And that's what we're talking about today. Fans that took things way too far and ended up seriously damaging the reputation of the thing that they were a fan of to begin with. Now, did all of these fans actually tank the reputation of whatever media they're linked to? Yes. Well, at least in a few cases. Like our first story today, the Voltron shipping blackmail. Voltron is a long-running anime series that started all the way back in 1984. Following a group of young heroes who pilot mechs that can combine together to form an even bigger mech. I don't know, I never watched this series, I'm not really that big of a fan of it. That's just the basics. Voltron Legendary Defender is the most recent series in this franchise, running from 2016 to 2018, and it is where our first story of today begins. Because apparently, the Voltron fanbase is just fucking insane. It has an entire list of controversies on its fan lore page. Not the show, specifically just the fanbase and the wacky shit that they got into. Look at some of this! Hell, that might make an interesting video on its own, just going down that list and seeing all the crazy shit that happened. But today, we're just gonna focus on the first big controversy. The first one that was so big, media outside of the fanbase was reporting on it. Yes, I did say first time, that happened multiple times. Okay, so to set the stage, leaks are kind of a big deal for studios. You know, when someone leaks information about something that's coming in a show or a movie, you spend years working on this story, planning out all of these twists and turns, only for some jackass on Twitter to spoil it all on day one. It's frustrating. Except, that's not entirely what happened here. From what I've been able to gather, which has been difficult since a lot of the information around this has been seemingly scrubbed from the internet, around 2017, confidential images and fully animated scenes started springing up all over the internet, which is a huge problem. See, people who are working on a TV show are under contract to not reveal anything about an episode prior to its release that hasn't already been authorized. Not just major things like if someone dies or some huge plot twist, basically everything you see from trailers or interviews or whatever had to be pre-approved. Now, if something as simple as a plot point slips through the cracks, studios usually don't do anything about it. Accidents happen, there's a lot of cogs in the machine, this could theoretically come from anyone from an animator, to a writer, to some random intern that just happened to overhear this in a conversation. They're probably not going to be able to even track down who did it. It's another thing when, again, entirely animated scenes get leaked, because those can only come from one place. The animation studio, which in this context was called Studio Mir. DreamWorks, the production studio that was funding this whole thing, was so angry about the fact that all of this stuff got leaked that they started to consider either canceling the show or shifting it to a different animation studio. So Mir began to desperately reach out to the fans, begging them to take down all of the leaks if they actually care about the show. Most people obliged, which is probably why it was so hard for me to actually find a source on this thing. The primary source that a lot of people point to for this story is a sci-fi article. The problem with that is that it's gone now. It got fucking deleted sometime back in 2017, and the worst thing is, it wasn't archived. Eventually, I managed to start finding sources from, of all things, a fucking NeoGAF thread, and from there I was able to work backwards and eventually find more sources confirming what I am about to tell you. Alright, so where were we? Yeah, most people took them down. However, one person saw an opportunity, replying to Miss McGarden. Hello from Studio Mir. We sincerely ask that you delete the repost regarding Voltron confidential materials, as Studio Mir is in serious legal issues with DreamWorks Animation as a result. Hi! Make clans canon and I'll take them down from my Tumblr. blogs not dedicated to Voltron also have the leaks.
I had to go outside, which is why my hair looks like this now. It'll be fixed in like 5 seconds. Fuck you.
So for those who are out of the loop, shippers, who are people that like to put two fictional characters into relationships and spread art and whatnot about them, tend to use a combination of the two characters' names in order to denote which pairing they're a fan of. Sanemi, Splorgeldink, Trumpier, you get the idea. Clance is the name of the ship for two characters named Keith and Lance. Clance. Get it? This person's fucking insane. Imagine you're an animator for this show. Not even the leaker, just some random guy who works here, whose job is now in jeopardy, and some random 15-year-old girl from Ohio or some shit is currently using this as an opportunity to try and get two boys to kiss on screen. The absurdity of this situation and this person's many tweets was not lost on everyone else, as it quickly began to spread around the internet. Now, for most people, the story ends there. Studio Mir continued to work on the show until its conclusion, and all of the other crazy shit that happened in this fanbase kind of overshadowed this event. But I think that's unfortunate, because I think that the last twist of this whole mess is really what makes it so incredible. You see, that 15-year-old girl comment was not a joke, which, okay, at least explains why she thought a stunt like this would work. Except, she didn't. Because as people found out by digging through this Tumblr, it was made very clear that this person was against this pairing. I cannot say the S word anymore, I'm sorry. But yes, this girl wasn't actually a fan of this couple. She was playing 4D chess in order to make people who are a fan of this, particular arrangement look bad, and it worked! The entire internet at the time viewed fans of this dynamic as absolutely insane. Hell, probably a lot of people do to this very day, all because one girl trolled them. This bitch trolled the entire internet for a few days. Hats off to you, girl. I have no idea what you're doing right now, but I bet you are going places. This was a bold move that worked out spectacularly. The best part is, again, no one usually finds this out because it got overshadowed with just how crazy this fandom got later on. I'm telling you, shit gets wild. There are rape threats at a certain point. Do not fuck with Voltron fans. Again, let me know if you're interested in hearing about all of that. For now, we'll leave it here, though, and move on to our next topic. Well-known Strongman fun fact. I've never played Undertale. It's just something that I missed when it first came out, and now that it has such a glowing reputation, I'm paranoid, because, like, what if I don't like it? Then I'm the asshole that doesn't like Undertale, you know? Same thing with Chrono Trigger. There's certain games I'm just too terrified to try. I tell you all this because this revolves around a Taiwanese artist by the name of Avi Mendez, who was a big fan of Undertale, regarding an incident that happened at a convention one year. Oh god, not another one! On a website I've never heard of because it's from China called Plurk, they posted this image along with the following text. I apologize for having to post this kind of update before I've even had a chance to share my thank you post. However, among the small treats I received at the recent Western Fandom convention, I discovered a needle. Thank you. I now have an impromptu tongue piercing. I'm not posting this to seek sympathy, I simply wish to highlight the gravity of this incident. Therefore, please refrain from offering me pats or words of comfort. It is no longer possible to investigate this matter further, and frankly, I'm too shaken to even wish to pursue it. But this experience has completely shattered my trust in certain things. From this day forward, I will no longer accept any treats, particularly those that appear to be handmade, from anyone other than close acquaintances. Further updates and announcements will follow. Thank you all very much for your concern. Why is confectionery assault a theme on this channel lately? Nah, but seriously, this is fucked up. According to the internet at large, the reason why this happened was another shipping war. 2 in a row, baby! Apparently, Avi shipped the Undertale characters Sans and Frisk, which would, I guess, be called Sisk. Whoever gave them the cookie took offense to that, and there you go. I would like to note that this is speculation, though. For one thing, the culprit was never found. As Avi explains in a reply to this very post, on that day, numerous people I didn't know, both inside and outside the venue, directly handed me snacks or slipped them into my pockets. What? Consequently, it would be impossible to track down every single person involved. Furthermore, I do not wish for everyone who gave me a gift to be treated as a suspect. Therefore, let us consider the matter closed. What do you mean slip them in your pocket? Why? I haven't really thought about that until now. If someone slipped a cookie in my pocket, I probably wouldn't eat it. Anyways, with that, motive has to be completely thrown out the window. We have no idea why this happened. They definitely were popular at the time, having 3,000 followers on this Plurk website, and if I'm reading it right, I believe that their art and comic that they made, shipping these characters, got so popular, they started to sell it in print, though, like, obviously independently. A lot of this website wasn't really properly archived, and again, it's all in Chinese, so I can't really tell how prominent Avi was in the fandom at the time. For all we know, this could have just been a random act of violence with no real motive. Everyone just kind of assumes it's a shipping thing because that's what Avi is known for, but again, we have no idea. With that being said, this story is still known as the Undertale cookie incident, and as such, will forever be linked to the Undertale fandom.
Oh, I'm afraid I just blew myself.
Homestuck fans are weird. This is just a constant of the internet. Cats are cute, Reddit sucks, and Homestuck fans are fucking weird. Homestuck is a webcomic that ran from 2009 to 2016, though it did recently make a comeback with an animated series. This is the full extent of my knowledge on Homestuck. I never read it, but that's not important. What is important is that it was very popular among a very specific group of people. Homestuck has an incredibly dedicated fanbase. Heck, I actually saw some Homestuck fans at convention only a couple months ago. I remember I walked up to them and I just said, "Hey look, it's some Homestucks," and I just walked away. Their reaction was very funny. It's clear that they were annoyed by it, but not enough to actually follow me and correct me, so very funny. Very good time. I digress. My point is that Homestuck fans have a bad rep, and this story is one of the reasons that people point to when discussing it. Originally posted to a Tumblr blog called Phantom Shadow, the post begins, interestingly, with the poster, who we will call Phantom, giving a bit of a prologue explaining that they originally posted this story to 4chan, and are now posting it here with added context. The post was made on CGL, but neither of us circulated it back to Tumblr because we tend not to want to connect those two sites. I'll repost the story and then go into details after. The story begins by telling us that Phantom and their friends were on their way to Anime Expo 2011 in LA. However, one of their friends pulled out last minute, and so they had to bring in someone else to make up the cost for the hotel room. Someone that they didn't know very well. She shows up late Friday, then Saturday, first thing in the morning, rushes into the bathroom, and then locks the door. 2 hours later, they start to smell something funny. I'll read the rest of the story verbatim. Friend decides to shimmy open the door. Her purse and valuables are in there, and she needs to go. Get door open. Terry is sitting in the bathtub, naked. The bathtub is filled almost halfway with what we later found out was 70% alcohol and Sharpie dye. Bottles and Sharpies everywhere. It's all over the walls, on the tile, on almost all of the towels, on several articles of clothing and bags in the bathroom. What she says? "I was going to clean it up." "Bitch, you tried to dye yourself gray in a bathtub." We kick her out of the room. She pays $700 in damage fees. She gets skin poisoning and damage from her stupid stunt. Fucking Homestuck fans. I love that final line, by the way. Really brings it all home. Phantom goes on to say in the blog some more details, some warnings about how you shouldn't do this, how it's bad for your health and all that. The post goes viral, everyone's talking about it, and it didn't fucking happen. I don't want to be the fun police, but for fuck's sake, there's no way that this actually happened, right? A lot of people like to look at this story and analyze it from a scientific angle. Like, what would actually happen if you bathed in that concoction for 2 hours? Would you actually get skin poisoning, or would you just be completely fine? But I feel like the easiest way to disprove this story is to just fucking think about it for like 10 seconds. Okay. Picture a bathtub. Now picture a Sharpie. Now fill that bathtub a quarter of the way with Sharpies. Think about how many Sharpies that would already be, okay? Now realize that most Sharpies' volume is not the ink, and that you would have to have so many more Sharpies to be able to fill just a quarter of a bathtub with Sharpie ink. Now Phantom did say the tub also had 70% alcohol in it. Not that 70% of the mixture was alcohol. 70% alcohol is the name of a disinfectant with alcohol in it, though just how much, we just have no fucking idea. But my point is, I know that she says the whole bathtub isn't just full of Sharpie, but you would need, like, a backpack full of Sharpies to even make anything close to a dye with that concoction. This is important because Phantom specifies that the bathtub was stained with Sharpie ink. And, not even just the bathtub, all of the fucking bathroom, the walls, the floor, towels, all of it, so most of it didn't even get in the fucking tub. Just the logistics of this whole thing make it extremely clear this was just something that someone made up for 4chan, and then this Phantom person just co-opted to try and get some internet clout. Hell, I didn't even realize this until I was reading the story, but who keeps their fucking valuables in the hotel bathroom? You keep those in like a drawer or a safe or something like that. You don't tuck them away in the fucking bathroom. Remember, that's the whole reason why they even broke down the door to begin with. It's kind of an important part of the story. Look, let me put it to you like this. If I told you that this exact situation happened with a Halo fan who was dyeing herself blue for a Cortana cosplay, you wouldn't buy it for a second. But, because it's a Homestuck fan, everyone just immediately accepted it. Because it's Homestuck fans. Them bitches are crazy. There are tales, and then there are legends. What I'm about to tell you, my friend, is a legend. Many of you who already know of this story may be wondering why I'm even bothering to tell it since it's so famous. Well, I'll tell you. Legends only persist by being retold. And so in order to do my part in preserving this canon event of internet culture, I will now bear the burden of explaining the jar to people who may not know. On November 27th, 2014, on the MLP board on 4chan, this image was posted. It depicts a figure of the character Rainbow Dash from the TV series My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Two of them, actually. One of them is in a jar, one of them in a glass. Of course, the most eye-catching thing is this. This strange brown fluid that the figure is currently resting in. What could this be? Maple syrup? Spoiled chocolate milk? Perhaps some pilk? No. It's cum. Hello, my dearest MLP. I come before you today to reveal a horrible accident to the Pony Cum Jar project. The place where I was hiding my cum jar were actually on top of a kind of radiator that was connected to our furnace. And of course, since it's getting colder, we light it up. So basically, the Rainbow Dash figure has been boiled in cum. It's brown now, and for comparison, I have also got another glass of cum that's about a week old. I will probably still bury it someday. Yours, PCJP. Let me just make this explicitly clear here. OP is a brony who, in his own words, has made it his mission to drown a Rainbow Dash figure in a jar full of his own cum before then burying it in his parents' backyard. Do I even really need to say anything? This isn't the first or last post about this that this guy made, by the way. Just so that we're all clear, he did finish the project. There is a patch of dirt out there somewhere on this planet, buried underneath which is a Rainbow Dash figure coated head to toe in a jar full of cum. But do you really need me to go over every post here? Do you really need me to cover the entire pony jar saga? No, you don't. This alone is really all you need to understand why this is so famous. Keep in mind, again, this was 2014, the peak of Brony Mania, when these guys were fucking everywhere. This post blew up. I'm calling it a post, it's a fucking 4chan thread. Sorry, my Zoomer lingo is slipping in here. It became the primary thing you learn about bronies. For many people, myself included, when you just hear the word brony, this image of Rainbow Dash in a boiled pot of cum is the first thing that comes to mind. It's just so absurd, so disgusting, so insane. It defined the entirety of the brony fandom for many people. And it was a shitpost! As revealed in an interview with the YouTuber Justin Wang, the pony jar guy was just doing it for the bit!
What's a crazy thing that I can do that's going to freak people out, you know?
Okay, so you did it to get the reaction, not because necessarily. So were you like not really like was this a thing that like you weren't particularly like excited about? You just wanted the reaction.
Yeah, it was definitely because of that 15-minute fame.
Now, as someone who is also putting in an unnecessary amount of work for a shitpost, respect. Kind of. I didn't come on my thing, I just threw it into a fire. Anyways, as much as I would love to spin this into this guy just doing it for the bit, he wasn't actually obsessed with Rainbow Dash. He still spent over a year coming on a plastic horse. I respect the commitment, not the end product. Oh, by the way, apparently he's also doing another one with Applejack. Well, there you have it. Some real interesting people. Fans of a property that just went way too far. Or did they? See, if you've been paying attention here, you will have noticed that all of the stories here, some of the most infamous fandom stories on the internet, have some sort of shadow casting over them. The Voltron blackmail was just some kid trolling. The needle cookie had nothing really linking it to Undertale. The Sharpie bath didn't fucking happen, and hell, even the pony jar wasn't as insane as most people say it is. Still insane, but not as insane. It kind of reflects on how most fandoms are, doesn't it? Most crazy fandoms aren't nearly as insane as most people give them shit for. As someone who likes Sonic, I can attest to the fact that most Sonic fans I've met or spoken to have been completely normal, well-adjusted people who just happen to like this blue bastard, and that's the case with all fandoms, really. Okay, maybe not the Voltron, those guys are fucking crazy. Jokes aside, most fandoms are full of lovely people, passionate people, who just want to share the love they feel for something that touched them and connected with them. At the end of the day, that's all a fandom is, just a collection of people who like the same thing. And like I said at the beginning, sometimes time spent with the fan base is better than time spent with the actual property. A lot of people who are fans of properties are probably put off because of the reputation fans of X or Y have. Pokemon fans are all furries that want to fuck Vaporeon. Star Trek fans are all overly obsessed nerds. Marvel fans are all soy boys. It's natural to not want to be associated with that perception. But if you take a step back, you realize that every fandom has these horror stories or stereotypes that probably aren't even true. Hell, some fandoms will even play into them for the bit. They think it's fun. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a fan of something but you're afraid of expressing it because you're worried people will, I don't know, label you as the next Chris Chan or something, fuck 'em. Go off. Be loud and proud about what you love. I'm sure that there's a group of wonderful people just waiting to share that love with you. Just, don't try and be the next jar guy, alright? I'm Sir Strongman, and that was the thing.